here is... What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to day 2 of rebuilding the GTR. Honestly, I just finished up editing the last video, so I hope you guys enjoyed the very first video of the rebuild of my baby. And honestly, getting out in the garage today, I was so excited. I'm like a little kid on Christmas every morning, getting to wake up, drink my coffee, and then it's like, oh sweet, I get to go work on the GTR. It's been so much fun so far, and it's literally only day 2. She's just begging to be thrown back into the GTR, but we have so many more things we need to attach. And I told you guys in the last video, the turbos are on the way. Well, if you see this box right here, this box holds my new turbos for the GTR. So excited. Some of you probably might have a guess on what these turbos are. They are slightly used, but they are incredibly rare, hard to find, and I got an absolute killer deal on these things. Just like everything on this car, I am trying to do a budget build. She's gonna be about as perfect as I can afford and am able to make her. So I'm not gonna inbox these yet. Once the exhaust manifold gaskets get here, because I wanted to replace them, I will unbox these so we can just bolt them up, get all the coolant lines, oil feed lines, and everything hooked up. Ooh, wait till you guys see these things. They are going to make this car rip. Okay, so the agenda for today, I told you guys in the last video, the oil filter housing needs to be fully disassembled and cleaned. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna clean that up, hopefully get everything back together. My oil pressure sensor gets here tomorrow for the filter housing, so I'm gonna throw that in once everything's all clean. And then I wanna go ahead and rebuild the axle. Well, I'm not gonna fully rebuild it, I'm just gonna re-grease and slap it back together so that I can get the axle on the opposite side. And then I'm still trying to decide if I'm gonna reseal this oil pan, because from the looks of it, there's just so much RTV and it's giving me anxiety. So I should probably take care of that. But look at this. Who thought this was a good idea? Why did you put so much RTV on this thing? Honestly, it should be pretty easy to get this thing disassembled. I'm gonna shut up and start getting to work. So hopefully this goes smooth. So I got the oil filter housing all disassembled. I tried to clean everything the best that I possibly could, and I'm just gonna leave it disassembled until I get a new sensor in. And so that's the oil pressure sensor right there, and I was advised that that probably needs to get replaced. So I'm gonna wait till that comes in. I'll throw the thermostat back in, I'll hook this back up. I soaked this in soap and water, and then I cleaned it and sprayed it with compressed air. I did the same thing to this. Hopefully that's good enough. I can't see anywhere in this that bearing material would get stuck, so honestly, I think it's gonna be just fine. So I have this parts pile, right? I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of stuff off of this I'm gonna need to swap over. So like, I need to get this axle mount out. I'm assuming I'm gonna need this. Definitely gonna need that. Gonna need to get that cleaned out as well. And then we should be good to go. So for some reason I can't get this to thread in here. So not sure if I need to retap these threads. Like, I can get it started. Maybe it's just hard to thread on. That seems a little sus. Okay, there's no way it should be that hard. All right, so I fought with it a little bit off camera and I got it to spin a little more, but it's insane how much effort I had to put in to get it to thread on. So I think it should be okay. I looked up a photo and I tried to find a stock one, and it looks like that's about as far as they thread on. Alright, so we got the oil filter housing all on, torqued down. I ended up getting the oil pressure sender unit or sensor, oil pressure sensor, whatever it is. I got that pretty much snugged down. I think that's about as good as I'm gonna be able to get it. It started to feel like it was like on the verge of, you know, stripping a thread, so didn't want to push it anymore. I got the oil cooler lines on. I went ahead and got these pressure cleaned, so they're 100% ready to go. And then the oil drain right here, I got bolted up right above the axles. Honestly, it's coming together. Okay, so here is the next part. Get it out. Don't break anything else. I need to figure out how to get this off of this and onto the new one. Yeah, let's start getting this thing disassembled. I already took the bolts out, so I don't know, maybe I just need to hit it. I don't know. You guys are probably like, dude, are you an idiot? A little bit. Okay. We're onto something. Huh. If you guys need this, I don't need this. So if you guys need this upper oil pan, let me know, because I literally have no use for this. Alright guys, so it is the next day and I'm waiting on the exhaust manifold gaskets to get here, but tomorrow is a holiday. It's going to be another 2 days before I get the gaskets, and that means the turbo unboxing is going to have to wait until then. I mean, you guys will see it in this video. I'm so anxious to see these things, but in the meantime, I'm going to get everything else prepped and ready so that once these turbos are unboxed, we can just slap them on the motor and call it a day. Everything from the old setup is so dirty. Here are the intake pipes for the turbos. I don't think you guys are gonna be able to see the inside of these. The previous turbo got eaten up by a bolt that was left in by the previous owner, and these things are filthy. I mean, there's like oil residue in them, and then there's, I think, material from the old turbos. Can you guys see that? You see all that metal stuff? I don't want to slap this on the new setup and have this stuff running through the turbos. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get these things cleaned up. I went ahead and also cleaned up the oil drain lines. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a little nervous about the oil filter housing and the oil lines. I think they're going to be fine. I cleaned them out with soap and water, and then I sprayed them out with brake clean. I hit up a GTR expert and he said that should be fine. We're going to hope and pray. But I want to get these cleaned out. Yeah, there's literally metal shavings and like tons of oil buildup in them. And then you guys kind of know the gist. I'm balling on a bit of a budget. I mean, I could get new intercooler piping. I don't really see the need to buy new intercooler piping. I don't have a new intercooler. I should probably just clean up the old stuff. But I'm telling you guys, building a GTR or even rebuilding a GTR is so expensive. I thought my Evos were expensive, but this thing is like next levels. This is kind of the boring part of the build, but like just has to get done. I just can't slap this back together and feel good about dirty, oily, grimy pipes. They look pretty mint, so not bad. It's kind of one of those times when I wish I had a parts washer, but no, we're working out of a 2-car garage. We're making things work. Honestly though, I keep thinking, I'm like, who else is doing this? Like, nobody else is trying to rebuild a GTR in a 2-car garage. Like, that's kind of crazy. All right, the sun is setting. We're racing against the clock because once the sun goes down, I literally can't work. There's no lighting in here. I have one little light. That's not gonna do the trick. Maybe have 30 minutes, and here's what I'm thinking. I pretty much have everything on the bottom half of the motor that I want to get on before I put it on the subframe, and we're gonna get this motor dropped on the subframe. We have liftoff. She's a heavy girl. Oh God. Oh God damn. That's a heavy. Yeah. Alright. Oh no. Don't you spin on me, big girl. Now the next fun part. Pull the subframe out of here, boy. Oops. Okay, well, she's out. Oh shit, baby. We almost there, boy. Oh God, right there. Oh my God. Oh my God. We did it, boys. Yeah, baby. I'm not gonna lie though. I'm hungry. I'm a little tired, so I think I'm gonna call it a night, and I'm gonna pick it back up tomorrow. I'm gonna go meal prep. Today was my rest day, so I didn't hit the gym, so I just got to be in the garage all day and wrench. I love it. I love this just as much as I do training and bodybuilding. I don't know, maybe at some point you guys will wanna see training content or like what I eat, or like maybe you don't. Maybe you're like, dude, just keep building cars or trying to build cars. I'll see you boys tomorrow. What is good with you guys? It is the next day and we're gonna keep plugging on this motor. So I think today I'm gonna go ahead and get the bell housing all secured. I'm gonna re-torque everything down. I saw a comment in the last video. This dude was like, a torque wrench would help. So off camera, I've been torquing everything to spec. I just figured I didn't really need to do that on camera. I think my goal today is to get bell housing bolted on. And then there are so many coolant lines and things on the backside of this motor. That's probably gonna be the hardest part of this. One, I don't wanna mess anything up because if I do, it's gonna be such a pain and I'm probably gonna have to drop the motor again. And two, there's just there's like so many little water lines and just pipes and tubes, and I don't wanna mess it up. So I took a bunch of photos from when I pulled the motor apart. So I should be able to put everything back on, but I also have to find everything in this sea of parts, put on this thing that they took off from the wreck GTR this came out of. And I promised you boys, tomorrow is the day that I'm gonna unbox these turbos. My new exhaust manifold gaskets get here as well. Turbos will be completely bolted on. The coolant lines, oil feed lines, everything will be ready to go. And this thing will be, I'd say 80% complete and almost ready to drop in. So let's get started. Alright guys, bell housing is completely on. Everything is torqued down to spec. We got the lower mount on, we got the motor mount on. And so I actually ended up dropping it back on the Harbor Freight table. I don't think we're gonna have to use the engine hoist anymore. So let's get this disconnected, put this thing away. All right, so you guys probably know better than I do, but look at that right there. Okay, you see that? If you look at this one, there's no hole. it is the next day, and this is the moment that you guys have been waiting for, that I've been waiting for, and probably the moment that I'm most excited for on this build of the GTR, and that is the turbos. You guys saw by the title of this video, I got some bigger turbos. I haven't shown you guys what, I haven't told you guys what I've gotten, but they're pretty rare, they're really hard to find, and I scored an absolute crazy deal on these things. I paid barely more than I would have for a set of stock turbos, and they're not stock turbos. Well, Yep, I've already said too much. Okay, let's unbox these things. We're gonna get them bolted onto the car. I'm actually waiting for USPS to show up. It's like 11 a.m. I'm waiting on USPS to show up so that I can put the gaskets on. Let's get these things unboxed. I'm literally so stoked. This is gonna be the sickest part of the build, 100%. Like, the motor's sick. That was the most expensive part. But this is like gonna be the sickest part. I'm gonna gap your G80. I'm gonna gap your Evo. Okay, maybe not G80s. G80s are kind of fast. Honestly, I don't even care about street racing, although I'm pretty sure people are probably gonna want to race me, because that's just how this industry is. Like, you have a GTR and people just want to race you. We're gonna have to hand out the gap to some people. All right, I'm gonna shut up. My alarm's going off. It's like, dude, unbox these turbos. Boys, I am so excited to see these things. I got a ton of videos, a ton of pictures from the seller before he ended up shipping these out. I didn't buy them from a company, I bought them from a private seller. That's probably why I got such a good deal on these things. And they're super low miles, so they're not brand new. They're not rebuild turbos. I'm assuming some of you guys might know what I ended up going with. Dang, he really packaged these things. This guy was the homie. He was like trying to help me out. He just wanted to get rid of these things. Oh my God. And he like put them in individual boxes too. That was so dope with him. Thank you. All right, wait till you guys see these things. Okay, so he individually wrapped all the oil feed lines as well. Oh, these are the ones I cleaned yesterday. Sweet, we can swap these back out, because I know for sure these ones are good. So we're definitely gonna swap these. Here are the inlets. Now, I don't know if these are different from the DBA inlets. Mine are the CBA, so the CBAs are super small. Yeah, these are packaged so nicely. Okay, here we go. Let's go. All the bubble wrap. Here is, you're like, dude, what is in there? Unwrap it, dude. All right, getting there. And now just getting my dream car kind of back on the road is a huge blessing. I was able to find these. I was able to afford these. I think this is gonna be like the most perfect OEM Plus option ever. Oh my God. Here they are. Probably the nicest packaging any private seller's ever done for me. He literally taped everything off. He marked everything for me. Here are my new babies. Well, I'm honestly so excited for these. These are Nismo turbos. So if you guys aren't familiar with GTRs, there's the GTRs like mine that come with the smaller turbos, and the Nismos come with slightly bigger turbos. Now these should be good for about 50 to 100 wheel more than the turbos that came on my car. So I think it's gonna be the perfect OEM option, or it's like an OEM Plus option. These came off of a 2015, they have 18,000 miles, and they are absolutely mint. I mean, you guys can see from the packaging, he labeled everything for me. All the studs on the backside are in great condition. They're not rusted out. It even comes with the little nuts. Pause. They're gonna be so sick on the GTR. And now I got these for an incredible deal. I got these for 1,500 bucks. 1,500 bucks for some Nismo turbos is honestly a steal. Not many people run the Nismo turbos on the GTR anymore. There's no better turbo, in my opinion, for like an OEM Plus build. Now I could have gone with something like FP Greens, but I figured for the money, I can't beat this. There's no downtime. I don't have to send in stock cores. My turbos were messed up. Like, I am so stoked. Here's one side. I'm gonna go ahead and get the other one unboxed, and then I'll show you guys a comparison between these turbos and the stock turbos that I have over there sitting in a box. Oh, we got Nismo turbos for the GTR. Let's go. Let's go. We got the Nismos. Let's go. Honestly, this is crazy to me. I am so excited that I went with the Nismos. And now obviously I'm not certain what these turbos are gonna make once everything's all said and done, but I'm assuming this will be an actual, up here in Colorado, probably about 700 wheel horsepower. That's what I'm assuming she'll make. Maybe a little bit more. It is gonna be fully 85. But yeah, I figured for 1,500 bucks, like what turbos are gonna be better? Plus they're low miles, zero shaft play, perfect condition. I was really excited about, you know, just getting her back on the road, but being able to afford and get the like little bit bigger turbos, but nothing too crazy, just is gonna make the build that much sicker. We have new gaskets coming for the exhaust manifold. So stoked on this, dude. I think this will be the fastest car I've ever owned. My old Evo 8 was definitely fast, but I think this is gonna be even faster. Fingers crossed, more reliable. All right, so I got a bit of the tape off, and these things are so mint. Look at them. I could not be happier with this. He literally even included the gaskets, oil lines, literally everything I need to get these back on the road, besides the exhaust manifold gaskets, but I wanted to order those brand new anyways. No shaft play. Alright guys, so I honestly didn't think there was that big of a difference, but check this out. So this is the stock one, this is the exhaust side on my stock turbo off of the old motor. So get a good look at that, and now check this one out. So much bigger. I mean, that's like probably half an inch bigger. Yeah, so look at that one, and look at this one. Way different. And now this is the turbo that got basically eaten alive on the last build. She's not a happy camper. So this was the stock turbo, and this is the new one on the Nismo. I would say pretty solid upgrade. All right guys, day 3 here in the garage, and I got the turbo on last night. It was one of those nights in the garage where I was just fighting this one bolt the entire night. I think it was in here almost 4 hours fighting this one bolt on the backside. It was one of the oil feed lines that goes from like the back of the block above the bell housing, and I could not get it to line up because I had to get the feed line from the turbo on first, because once it's mounted on here you have no access. So I had to get it on there and try to get it lined up, and it was so difficult. Probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do, but I got this side turbo on. The driver's side turbo should be a little bit easier. But just so you guys can see in daylight what I'm talking about, so that bolt right up there, that one that says R, that was so difficult to get on, because that's the only oil feed line going from the back of the block to the turbo, and then there's 2 coolant lines. And now I had to hook those up. Those weren't bad because it hooks up and then you just have to put the clamps on right there. She's all on, she's all torqued down. So passenger side turbo is on there. We got the new exhaust manifold gasket. Hopefully I can get there. I have about 3-ish hours. Oh yeah, this is gonna work. We're gonna hope. We're gonna pray. Holy crap, we did it. Oh my god. You guys don't know how long that took me last night. Oh, nothing's cross-threaded. Oh, let's go, baby. The small victories, I will take them. Okay, so now we have one more coolant line right here, and then this guy comes right here. Oh my god, baby, it's like I'm a professional. Oh, and I'll tighten everything up once we get it on there. I left this guy a little loose. Oh, please don't fight me. Let's not do this today. God, why are these so annoying? It's like they all want to freaking cross thread, dude. All right, boys, so here's what I'm gonna do. I can't get this to feed without it wanting to cross thread. I don't know why this has been so difficult. Instead of fighting it to get the second coolant line on, I'm just gonna remove it from up here and put it on down here and then reattach. I think that makes sense. Probably gonna be easiest for me, and that way I just stop struggling. Alright, so I'm not gonna lie, this side was way easier than the other side. We have both of the coolant lines hooked up and tightened down. We have the oil line up here that goes to the back of the block tightened down. One of the coolant line attaches up there. We got that all hooked up. And then the oil drain on the bottom, we have that secured as well. And now I just need to get the manifold bolts tightened and torqued, and this turbo will be ready to go. Then we just got to do inlets, downpipes. We're getting so close. My goal before I leave this garage today is to have this motor completely ready and like 99% ready to go to drop into the car. Definitely ready to have my car back. So here she sits. We have the driver's side turbo, all of the coolant lines right here hooked up, the oil line up top is hooked up, and then the oil drain on the bottom is hooked up on this side, and we have the same thing over here. Now with these, all of the coolant lines sit on the back, same with the oil line, so you have to put them onto the turbo before you can put them onto the block, and it was such a pain. But we got her done. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna get the downpipes hooked up, and then we're gonna do the inlets, and literally guys, she's so close to being drop-in ready. Shit, we're down to my last pair of gloves, boys. All right, I'm gonna do downpipes first. Got my 3-inch downpipes. I think they're 3-inch. They're either 3-inch or 3.5. Maybe 3.5. And I did all new sensors last time when I did these downpipes, so they're all brand new Denso. Shouldn't have any issues. Alright, so we got all these guys torqued down to 36 foot-pounds because that is what the factory said to do. We got all brand new O2 sensors. Let's do this guy. Alright, so I wanted to give you guys a comparison before we go ahead and part swap everything and throw the DBA inlets or the Nismo inlets. These things are way bigger internally. These are the new ones, these are the old ones. Now if I did stock turbos alone and just upgraded the inlets, I think it's about 50 wheel more just from the amount of airflow that these things can intake. I'm gonna swap everything over to these and get them thrown on the car. Turns out you got to put the heat shield on the exhaust manifold before the inlet, because if not, it just doesn't want to go. See, now it does. She is on. Now we will get turbo inlet tight again. All right, well, slowly but surely, this thing is literally getting so close to being done. Turbos are on, downpipes are on, inlets are on, heat shields got put on. Literally pretty much everything that we need to drop this thing in the car is on. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna throw the alternator on, power steering pump, and the AC compressor before I drop this thing in. It's kind of making me sad. I'm like, dude, it's literally about to be in the car, and we're probably gonna get the first startup here in the next few days. It's like the parts piles, like there's not as many bolts now, not as many parts. First startup here in a couple days, boys. All right, well, that only took me about twice as long as it should have, but it's okay, we got her done. Power steering pump is on, alternator is on, all the tensioners are on besides the crank, and I'm missing a bolt for right here, so I need to go find that. Wait, oh, it's right here. Let's go, baby. Let's go. All right, so we get that in, and then I need to clean up the crank pulley. And then honestly, everything on the front besides the AC compressor is on. And then literally, I don't think there's anything else left to put on this motor before we drop her in. Well, I'm not saying this is the right way, but I'm definitely not saying this is the wrong way. So she is torqued to spec. You know, we had to do what we had to do. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Alright guys, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty tired. It has been a long couple days in the garage, but I'm so stoked on the progress we've made. I think tomorrow the motor's going in the car. How? Like, I got the motor last week. I know it's probably not that fast. Some people might have it in literally a day. Dude, I got the motor a week ago and I'm already dropping it in the car. And then honestly, I don't think it's gonna be that difficult. All I have to do is hook up the wiring harness. That's it. Hook up wiring harness, throw some fluids in her, and intake manifold. But getting it over there into the car, that's gonna be a battle. Check this out. So I got the motor right here. I pulled it out once, so I should be able to do it. So what I'm gonna have to do is spin this thing around, pull it all the way back to the wall, and then literally pull the side of the cart over to get it to clear the fenders. Obviously, I'll show you guys the whole process. Here she sits. You guys will see in a separate video, I ended up getting my brakes powder coated, so I should be picking those up tomorrow too. And I'm also a little bit stressed because the intercooler is filled with oil, like tons of oil, and I don't really want to run the car with this intercooler. Like, all right, so I don't know if you guys can see that, but that pipe is just coated in oil. I don't really want to run this intercooler. This is so surreal that I like took apart my GTR and now I'm putting it back together. I know a lot of people probably do this all the time, but it's cool for me. So I'm stoked. I cannot wait to get this thing out of the garage. Driving this to the gym the first time, I might cry. It's gonna be sick. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sure it's gonna be a longer video. I tried to film every single step of the way. Let me know what you think, and I will catch you guys in the next video. And I'm 99% sure the next video is either gonna be the Brembo rebuild or the first start of this thing. Let's go, baby. So honestly, I got so much love on the last video, and just like, I don't care how many views I get, but if everybody's enjoying the videos, that makes my heart so happy. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for the love and support. Let's get this thing back on the fucking road, baby. Bye.